Bienvenue at ChangeNOW and welcome to another exciting pitching session on the topic of food and agriculture. We started the morning with 10 amazing pitches around the topic of water and ocean. We are coming to another one that is vital for human survival, yet we seem to not appreciate and respect nature, agriculture, our soils in the way that we should, given that we depend on them for so many crucial things. It is my pleasure, and I do that with great excitement, to welcome you to this session. We're going to have 9 wonderful pitchers who look at this topic from different perspectives and bring all their creative ideas to this room here today, hopefully to inspire and engage you. Before we move on to introduce the jury and then go one by one into the pitches, I have another great pleasure, which is to welcome Sandrine Sommer from Mouette NEC on stage, who is a partner of this session through the World Living Souls Forum. And maybe you give us a quick introduction into your world and your work. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthias. Hello, everyone. I'm Sandrine Sommer. I'm Chief Sustainability at Mouette NC. We are very happy at Mouette NC to support this session. We have developed a program called Living Soil, Living Together, because you know wine and spirit are deeply, fully connected with soil and nature, and we need absolutely to accelerate, and we need solution and startup to help us to go further. We have created a forum dedicated to soil called the World Living Souls Forum. The next edition will be in October and will be co-organized with ChangeNOW. So we are looking forward to hearing from you, from your solution, again, to go further. Thank you.
Wonderful. Sandrine, very good on time. Thank you. I appreciate it. Next up is the introduction of the jury, and I suggest we just go from my right to my left, and let's keep it short and sweet. Name and who you represent, maybe 20 seconds each. Thank you.
Yes, hi. My name is Fabrice Derm. I'm the co-founder and CEO of a foundation called the Rocket Foundation, and I'm also an impact investor, and we support early-stage social entrepreneurs in the world.
You're at the right place.
Hello everyone, my name is Gaëtan. I am the head of impact at 5 Seasons Ventures. We are a VC fund investing in food tech, so food and beverages, mostly B2B across Europe, mostly in Series A. And
wonderful.
Super happy to be here.
Sounds like a pretty good fit as well. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Alexandre Bio, working for Supernova Invest. We invest in startups where science and technology makes an impactful difference. We've launched recently a fund dedicated to food and ag together with Crédit Agricole to support transitions with NS in farming.
Wonderful. Good to have you.
Hi everyone, I'm Claire, working at Open Innovation at LVMH. Sorry, I just need to see.
Yeah, please.
So at LVMH, maybe you know, we have a great startup accelerator based in Station F. So we welcome each year 30 startups that we accelerate to the 75 brands that we have in the group. And so my role today is to listen to your solution and maybe to make sure that you will be part of the next batch of startups. Nice to meet you.
Wonderful.
Hello everyone, Lou de la Derrière. I'm an agronomic engineer. I'm working at Mouette NEC in the sustainability team, specifically on regenerative agriculture and in general the way we produce our raw material.
Good to have you.
Hello everyone, I'm Christophe Pertuiseau. I'm the head of research and innovation for Mouette NC, with 30 years of background in innovation R&D across various industries, and I'm always on the lookout for interesting solutions.
Wonderful. Good to have you too. Thank you for your time. Now, we have about a 50-minute journey together here through the world of innovation in food and agriculture, and this is our journey agenda. We are going to see 5 pitches right now, 3 minutes each. After that, we'll do a quick Q&A where you can ask away any of your questions, and we're going to then see another 4 pitches. If you come to the end of your 3 minutes, please don't take it personal, but I will come closer to you step by step to indicate that your time is slowly coming to an end. We're on a tight schedule, and out of fairness, we really want to keep it to the 3 minutes. Now with that, and without further ado, I'd love to ask the first changemaker and entrepreneur up on stage, and that is Mathilde from ReGeneration. Your time to shine. Welcome.
Hi everyone. I'm Mathilde Roy, the Chief Operating Officer at ReGeneration, and I'm very happy today to pitch you our mission, which is to accelerate and finance the development of regenerative agriculture. Sorry, it's not working. Oh yeah. So as you may know, agriculture is a major contributor to climate change. It's about 40% of the planet's land that is occupied by agriculture, and 25% of greenhouse gas emissions come from agriculture. And today, farmers have a strong pressure to make the transition for more healthy food, for fertility soil, for better business models. And fortunately, there is a solution to that, and it is called regenerative agriculture. So it has many benefits for the environment, including carbon sequestration, improved water cycle, enrichment of biodiversity, but also more healthy food and economic resilience for farmers. The thing is, for farmers to do this transition, they need agronomic support, and they also need financing, because this transition is costly. So that's a solution we invented at ReGeneration. We bring agronomic support to our farmers with a network of agronomists all over France that work hand in hand with our farmers. And we also bring financing thanks to a credit that we build that's called Climate Contribution Credit, CCC. And this credit is based on the transition of our farmers. And it's a new generation of credit that we built to make it the most robust and the strongest credit as possible for the corporates that will invest in it. How do we do that? Two things. First, this credit is a three-dimension credit. It's not only a carbon credit, but it measures, of course, CO2 sequestration, but also biodiversity improvement and water storage. And the second thing is that we do measurements in the fields as opposed to calculations or models. This makes it really robust, and it's really an anti-greenwashing tool for corporates that will invest in it. So we were created at ReGeneration in 2021. So far, we have signed up to 200 farmers and 30,000 hectares all over France. And our goal in the coming 10 years is to have to work in Europe in 8 countries and to have captured up to 100 million tons of CO2. Thank you for your attention.
Wonderful. You can just pass it on to the next. Thank you. That was Mathilde from ReGeneration, helping with the transition to regenerative agriculture. Up next is Alvin from ALGAMA. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alvin. I'm the founder and president at ALGAMA. It's a great pleasure to be here. At ALGAMA, we harness microalgae to make ingredients from them. So I will ask with one question, maybe not to the whole audience, but the jury. Do you know about microalgae? Any of you? Not so much, so I won't have a lot of help here. If you heard about it, you might know that it's a microorganism that is extremely rich in protein, fatty acids of the best quality, like omega-3s, omega-6, omega-9s, a lot of vitamins, while the best nutrients you can find on a natural ingredient. The only thing is that if you know about them, it's not so good. It's like pretty bad, actually, in taste. And this is how I personally discovered algae. I've been taking microalgae as food supplement for 20 years right now. And about 13 years ago, I started to think, well, can we do something else about it? Because realized that the food system was pretty messed up, and not a lot of people were doing anything about it. I'm talking about 13 years ago, and then 10 years ago, ALGAMA started with this mission of creating new ingredients from this biomass that is totally untapped. What I want to say today, because, well, it's a pitch, but I can say whatever I want, it's good, is that, well, it's been 10 years. It takes a lot of resilience. You've heard about alternative protein. You heard about food. You've seen many products already. It wasn't the case back then, but right now, it's very important. And unlike what I'm doing right now, because I'm very, very bad at pitching, I still think that, well, first impression is very important. So even if I don't like to pitch, and I don't have any slides, as you can see, I can't do that. I do believe that what we do is extremely important because the food system is accountable for 25% of all the greenhouse gases that we have in this world. And it's also a lot more than that because it's pretty messed up in many challenges for the health, for animal welfare, well, a lot of diseases that are coming. Well, I don't have to say too much about it. So we need to do something strong. And if I'm talking about this whole thing right now, it's because last night I arrived from San Francisco for a session of conferences that was, well, that were very interesting. A lot of companies had trouble right now because they have to lay off, because they are folding, because they couldn't meet their markets. And well, I'm pretty happy about ALGAMA because we don't have this issue today for one reason, and one reason only, I believe. After 10 years of work, we have ingredients that are replacing eggs, mostly. This is the first ingredient that we are introducing to the market. And what we managed to do is having an excellent first impression. Our ingredients have a perfect taste, perfect texture, and it costs less than the product that we are replacing. So here, I just want to push for first impressions and good products.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. And you'll have a chance to learn more about the venture in the Q&A and the networking session as well. Next up is Azadeh from betterSoil. Your time to shine. Join me here. Thank you.
We are going to start with a little bit of practice. Can you stand on the ground? It's a natural soil. It's a natural ground. So come on, everybody, a bit harder. A little bit, a little bit. Can you imagine growing a kind of healthy tree in this kind of soil? Hard, like stone? No, I can't. Why I cannot? Because when the soil is sick at the moment, we get sick. Why we get sick? Because we do not get the nutrients from the soil. Because the food quality drops. When the food quality drops, we get sick. And when the soil is sick, farmers' income drops. They do not have anything to sell on the market. And people lose their homes because they have to go for other soils in other countries. Then the climate gets sick. Why? Because soil is the largest carbon reservoir on Earth after the ocean. Oh my God. What about food? 95% of our food comes from soil. What about nature? Soil is the fundament in the nature. What about biodiversity? More than half of global biodiversity lives under our feet. Come on, Leute, can you imagine this? Soil degradation is killing everything. Soil is sick, we get sick, nature is sick, biodiversity is lost. Very simple. So, betterSoil, what do? We produce a kind of natural soil fertilizer. This is our product. We call it betterSoil Booster to replace it with chemical fertilizer. So this is one thing, good for nature. What do we do next? We offer soil consultancy partnership with farmers and companies to work in their supply chain to make it more resilient for climate and environment. We do not want that the indigenous knowledge is lost. That's why we combine it with science and make betterSoil recipe out of it. So with soil partnership and betterSoil Booster, the natural soil fertilizer, we go for this. And this is the result. The first leaf shows you what the real leaf looks like when there is no betterSoil. On the left side of you. In the middle, only after 6 months, with a little bit betterSoil Booster and a good consultancy to the farmer, and then healthy soil. This is where we want to go. So we are 16 people in the team from 4 nations, registered in Germany, Iran, Malawi, and Kenya. And that's it. And we go for, we have a vision I have a dream to reach 1 billion people on the earth and provide them with healthy soil. And when you work with us, we work with climate, we work with environment, and we work with farmers. And that's it. Thank you very much. And if you like, you can visit our booth and buy our book. Thank you.
You can pass it on to the next. Thank you. Very clear chain of things that go wrong and could improve thereof. Next up is Olga from Agro Sustain. Welcome to Change Now and welcome on stage.
Thank you. So hello everyone. We just spoke about soil and healthy plants. So I will tell to you how we can keep the fruits and vegetables healthy longer once they've been harvested. And this is a goal of Agro Sustain. I guess all of you are familiar with some of these images, right? It's something that happens to us and also to retailers when the fruits are being forgotten or stored for too long. And this is, of course, something that creates a food waste. And at Agro Sustain, we have a solution to address this issue, which is a natural coating, which is made of edible emulsifiers and vegetable oils. And it basically helps to cover the fruit as well as vegetables and cut flowers and extend this shelf life. In addition to it, what is very important, we have to reduce the waste loss reduction throughout supply chain by 50%. We have to reduce the water loss in the fruits, which means it's more revenue for the growers, which are trading based on the weight, and we extend the shelf life for the end consumer by 3 to 4 days, which just gives you a few more days to enjoy your food without sending it to trash bin. In terms of application, we are working directly with the food growers in their packing stations. The product can be applied by spraying or bathing using the currently existing machinery. And where we are standing today, we are doing a fundraising, as some of you are investors, of 3 million. So if you want to participate, please pass by our booth. Thank you.
Pass it on. Thank you. Very short and sweet. Very good. Thank you. Next up is Chuck from Soil Capital. Chuck, your time to shine.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. It's great to see you, and it's great to be included in a crowd of people that are doing amazing things. On the other hand, maybe I can start by saying that plants suck. Plants have this amazing ability of sucking carbon out of the atmosphere and bringing it into the soil, creating living soils, but also creating clean water, abundant wildlife, and healthy food. So at Soil Capital, what gets us excited is making regenerative agriculture mainstream, not within our lifetimes, but within this decade. And for that, we need to put the centers at the farmer of this equation and start paying them better. So we're a bunch of 50 geeks, finance people, generalists, but most importantly, people that come from a farming background or from an agronomy background. And we work very hard to make this vision a reality. What we support farmers in doing is farming a little bit differently. So replacing mineral synthetic fertilization with more organic inputs. Minimize the disturbance of the soil's fragile ecosystem. Increasing cover crops and therefore photosynthesis. Also adding species to the rotation, like cover crops, animals, more species in the rotation, but also agroforestry. At the center of all this, there's perhaps a tool, yes, that will enable farmers to measure, manage, and monetize their environmental impact much better. But also, this software comes with deep agronomic insights and support, not only to the farmers, but also to the farmers' ecosystem to make sure that not only do farmers bring in hectares, but they actually regenerate those hectares. So today, the farmers love our program. We have now 1,500 farmers on over 350,000 hectares in France, Belgium, and the UK for the arable crop system. And these farmers, they do regenerate their soils. The last numbers are in. It's not 75% of the farmers improving practices in the first year. It's actually 90%. So these farmers have also stored or reduced over 180,000 tons of carbon or equivalent into the soil. And the first 400 farmers that were the first to enter the program have already been paid 4 million euros to date. By the way, that 180,000 tons, that's the equivalent of around 20,000 Frenchmen. Now, who's valuing this change for the farmers? Well, mostly It's businesses in the food and ag supply chain that have a keen interest in reducing their Scope 3 emissions, but also long-term security of supply. And where we're going next is international to make regenerative agriculture mainstream. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. And you can stay right with me for the Q&A. Yeah, if you could just... Can I ask the other 4 pitchers to rejoin us on stage and come a little closer to the camera? Yep, like as close as possible to you. Yeah, thank you. Okay, wonderful. Over to the jury. Sorry, can we line up on this side? Yeah, it's just the camera issues. Thank you. Wonderful. Who wants to ask the first question? And maybe a little tip. Let's keep it short and sweet and fair so that everyone has a chance to share some final thoughts. But over to the jury for now.
Okay, I will go for the first question to Olga. You're mentioning water losses that you're addressing. What about pathogens? And is your product okay for organic products?
Thank you for the question. Concerning pathogens, thank you for highlighting it. Indeed, when we are depositing our layer, it does help to reduce the growth of fungal pathogens because they need oxygen to breathe, and in this case, they cannot. So like this, we can actually reduce the usage of post-harvest fungicides by 50%. And your second question was?
Is it okay for organic?
Thank you. Depends on the country. In Chile, for example, yes. Whereas in European Union, there is no, right now, subdivision of organic coatings. That's why it's only for conventional for European market. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Yeah, next question over here, and then you. Yeah, please.
Hi, I've got a question for ALGAMA. Production, how do you produce? And what is your business model? B2B, B2C? Because we haven't seen anything.
We are exclusively B2B, selling to large industrials, food service. And, well, the biomass is produced by partners, mostly France, Europe, and other places in the world. We have production capacities to transform the biomass into ingredients in France now, and we are building up a factory that we just bought in Belgium, that we have the capacity to make the equivalent of 200,000 metric tons of eggs per year.
Great, wonderful. Over here?
A question for Mathilde. You have a very ambitious plan. How do you plan to scale up, especially in the capability to measure some of the indicators you have?
Yes, that's right. It's very ambitious. Well, the first thing is really to start work and enroll a lot of farmers and to work hands in hands on the fields with agronomists, with them. And of course, to convince also some corporates with our model. And this was the sale of the credits will make it possible for us to develop all the measurements that we pay with the credits. And of course, what's important is that we give back, I didn't mention it, but we give back 60% of the value of the credit to the farmer. But what is key is the partnerships with corporates that will believe in our model.
Thank you. Yeah. Next question.
So for the solution of betterSoil, so my question is, do you provide the biochar and compost to the farmers or make sure they're trained to be able to create their own? And then how do you track the improvement on the crop and on the soil?
Well, it depends. It depends on the partnership and the years of the partnership. When you have 3 years, so we educate the farmer in this time so that he can produce it for his farm based on his waste, agricultural waste and bio waste, whatever, kitchen waste and whatever it is, because we produce this by a natural soil fertilizer based on waste. It's a kind of circular economy. So it depends, and when you say about how we track it, biochar contains carbon. So when you bring 1 ton of biochar in the soil, you bring 3 tons of carbon dioxide in the soil. So it's scientifically proven because I'm a scientist, so I can tell that. And when you say 1 ton of our product is 1 ton of carbon dioxide, you can bring it with scientific papers in the soil and then sell the credits to companies, because biochar is a very known product in terms of carbon dioxide. This is one way of measurement, how many tons of this product, our product, a farmer has been brought into his soil, and yield increase, how many % yield increase the farmer has. For instance, in this case, we could show that the trees had bigger leaves stronger leaves, and the products were bigger. It was pistachio tree. So this is yield. This is how much ton of this product can come into the soil, and 1, 2, and I think that's it.
Thank you. Very clear. Next question.
Yes, I have a question for the ReGenAg solutions. You mentioned you distributed 4 million to the farmers. Do you know how much it cost them? Because what's the business model? How do you finance the financing gap that they have to implement, all these measures, solutions, etc.? How do you make the case for the farmers?
So there's long debates around that, but what we're excited about is not trying to figure out what it costs on average, but to understand from the farmers that are using the best pathways to transition, how do you actually transition in a way that's going to maintain your yields as much as possible and decrease your costs. So yes, there's still a cost. I know that generally the cost is around 150 euros a hectare. I think that can be brought down much, much lower.
Please, yeah.
If I can also add a complete. Yeah, you're right. It's really key to bring enough value to the farmers and not put the financial burden on them. So that's why we really struggle to build this high value credit. The more we can bring to this credit, the most expensive we can sell it, and then we can give back value to the farmer. So, and we're pretty sure that the solution to all this transition is on the giving more value to this transition with very precise and robust KPIs.
Wonderful. We have time for maybe one more.
Okay.
Yeah.
One additional question for ALGAMA. You're substituting egg with your product. What does your comparative life cycle analysis say about the interest?
Well, it says that we are 5 to 10 times better in greenhouse gases, land, water, energy, and we just ran it. We're going to display everything we have from it. So, and very, very strong impact that has been measured by a third party.
Any last, very short? No? That is not the case, so I'd like to ask you to stay on, because we're going to have a networking session after all the pitches. But for now, we're going to have 4 more exciting pitches. Big round of applause for the first round of pitches. Thank you. Wonderful. For those guests who have just joined us, you are in a pitching session around innovations in food and agriculture. We've just heard 5 wonderful people share their work and their organizations, and we are going to move on to 4 more. And without further ado, I'd love to welcome Abhimanyu from Greenearth Agro onto the stage. Your time to shine.
Hello? Can you guys hear me? Yes, you can.
Keep it very close to, yep.
All right, I'll start by saying that if we are serious about solving the hunger problem, we have to produce 60% more food. And if we don't produce this food sustainably, we're running into a climate disaster. So the question is not why, but how and from where this sustainable food is going to come from. The World Bank thinks it's Africa. And for a good reason, because it presents a $1 trillion opportunity waiting to be harnessed. Africa right now is like a blank canvas. You can build a climate-smart food system from scratch to work perfectly. But why is that not already happening? What's blocking it? The problem is a lack of trust in the African ecosystem. Of all the land that exists in Africa, barely 15% is actually registered. The land that doesn't exist on government registry is not providing you land tenure security. And no investor worth his salt is going to put his money on a piece of land that doesn't even exist on paper. Our ground operations are in Ghana, where the same plight echoes. It's essentially a trust problem, and which is where we had to solve. We are institutionalizing this trust by creating the most advanced land credential system for investors in agriculture in Africa. This is how it works. We lease a land from the farmer directly on profit-sharing basis. And this is, by the way, unused land. We then put that land in the government registry and digitize the entire land profile. The result is a land stewardship platform that not only ensures your tenure security, it not only provides free digitization and formal ownership to farmers, but it also gives investors the exact environmental and financial impact of last dollar invested. Our investors know what is happening on that land at any point in time. Now, if that sounds like a good idea, how much land can be brought on this platform? We have boots on the ground in Ghana for the last 8 years that allowed us this opportunity. Just last month, as you can see, my co-founder and CEO signed an important MOU with the Ghanaian government to bring all its agricultural land, the unregistered agricultural land, on the government cadastre through our platform. We have 1,000 registered land available on the platform right now, and another 10,000 identified, ready to be leased. With the correct investment right now, we can 10x that opportunity. And by the way, the moment we click 3,000 acres, this model becomes a self-sustainable one. We don't need any other external funding anymore. So what's the end game? We are based, headquartered in Luxembourg, slightly up north from here, which is where we are setting up the primary investment vehicle that allows trust, technology, and the legal framework for impact investors all over the world to now invest in high-impact regenerative agriculture projects in targeted geographies in Africa, starting from Ghana. That's my team, and we are here to talk to seed investors because we're going farming on the first 1,000 acres. Thank you.
Wonderful. Wishing you much success. Thank you, Abhimanyu. Next up is Jeanette from ReCircle. She wanted to carry something onto stage, but then hesitated. Maybe I can show it. Yeah, and you can start your pitch.
Hello, everybody. I brought some samples, so thank you. I'm Jeanette. I'm the founder of ReCircle, and I'm happy to pitch you our case. ReCircle is a reusable packaging system. It's a deposit system that works in a network. Our partners make it easy to reuse. Here it is. Because we are all here because we have a problem with single-use packaging waste. And to give packaging a value and to give it quality, it prevents from getting into land and on the ocean, and so the pollution and also plastic, single-use plastic pollution will stop. Things are changing. We are a lot more aware of sustainability. And we know now that recycling is not the silver bullet because there is still a lot of transport of plastic waste into land and ocean. We have a solution very easy. It's a B2B2C solution because you've asked this before. We are selling our products and our services to the restaurants. We believe in high quality, so maybe you can touch our products later. We have services, smart services, and we have positive communication and the network to make it easy. We have 3 revenue streams. One is the income of the product sales, because it's a sale and rebuy project, because people kind of keep our products and refill it and exchange it everywhere. So the return is not really our business model. Then we have a subscription income that's regular, and we have a partnership income that's also regular. And in Switzerland, we have been profitable after 3 years of operation. We have now 2,300 partners who are using this. And our vision is 100,000 partners in Europe. And what's the most important, we don't only want dots on the map, we want usages. So we strive for 5 million usages per day. And this was our impact in last year. It's 20 million single-use packagings that we have only in 1 year saved, so to say. And we believe that we can scale this 50x to the 100,000 restaurants and 5 million usages. And for this, we are looking for cash, and we are looking for strategic partnerships in Europe. the team, the core team, we are 13 members. We cover expertise in marketing, sales, finance, product development, and project management. And the difference is we really love to reuse. So in a nutshell, we are an easy deposit return system, no app or infrastructure. And we're asking for 3.75 million. And if you need more information, we have our booth in the Changing Habits area. Thank you.
Wonderful. You can pass that on. Yep. Thank you, Jeanette, from Recircle. Next up is Gaspar from MASH, or MASH. He'll tell us all about it. Welcome.
Hey. Can you hear me? Okay, good. Yeah, so my name is Gaspard. I'm the co-founder of MASH, and I'll explain you what we do. So we started a project because we know that today the population keeps on increasing, right? And as it was said before, it also means that we will need to produce more of the food that we eat today. But then on the other hand, we know that the way we produce food today is just not really sustainable for the planet anymore. So if you want to find alternatives today, then usually you always find the same alternatives. It's pea or soy protein. But then on the other hand, it's not really sustainable for the planet neither. And as a consumer, if you're going to go to the supermarket, you usually find always the same type of products, right? And this is why at MASH we basically produce a fungal protein. It's also known as mycoprotein. The principle of its production is actually quite simple. So we take the roots of a fungi, and we cultivate it, we grow it, using fermentation techniques that maybe you know. Only we make it much more quick and much more efficient than we can find actually at the moment on the market. We feed the fungi with some low added sugar that he then turns it into its growth, into a high quality protein ingredient that we named Locelia. Then we can sell it B2B to 3 different markets: aquaculture, pet food, and food. The good thing with the production process that we use at the moment is that when you compare it to the production process of producing beef, of course the worst, but then you're able to emit 95% less greenhouse gases. You consume much less land and much less water as well. So this is basically the process to the left. You find the big pilot reactor that we're working with at the moment. But we've also tried the protein ingredient into different recipes. And the recipe that you find in the upper of the slide is basically making a chicken nugget with just mycoprotein, or almost just mycoprotein. And it's really surprising. It's really good. And the reason it's really good is that the texture of the mycoprotein itself really resembles to chicken-like texture. So at the moment, we are at the pilot phase of the project. It means that it's actually quite good because we have about 1 ton of product that we can give to the market to do some sampling. But in 2027, we actually want to be producing 10,000 tons of that mycoprotein. It is a lot, but it also means that at the moment, as a small team of 5 people, we're going to need to be a bit more, right? And this is why at the moment we're seeking 2 to 3 million euros so that we can bring 10 to 20 people to the team of MASH, be robust, be strong, and also hope to make a stronger impact on the food production of the system at the moment, basically. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Gaspar from MASH. Wishing you much success. Thank you for the work that you do. Next up is Vincent from FEVE. Your time to shine starts now.
Hi, everybody. I'm Vincent from FEVE. We are losing farmers every day. The numbers of farmers in France has been divided by 5 within 40 years. And it's continuing since half of farmers are going to be retired in 5 to 10 years. So this could be a drama because fewer farmers means bigger farms, and bigger farms usually, not always, but usually means less environmentally friendly agriculture. But at the same time, it's an opportunity. It's a good opportunity to change the way of farming because we have lots of farmers that are going to be installed to replace the people who are going to be retired. So we think it's the good time to move towards bio-regenerative agriculture faster than it has been for till now. The issue with that is when somebody wants to get installed, it needs lots of money, around 1 to 2 million euros in order to fund the farmland, the equipment, and the livestock. And people today are not the sons or daughters of farmers, so they need this investment to get installed and start their farm. In the meantime, there are more and more citizens who are attracted to eco-friendly investments, and we have never had so many savings in the French citizens. So we thought it was a good idea to look for this money and create a community of citizens who wants to help change the agriculture. And we have created a real estate fund that purchases farms in order to get to help farmers to get installed. And this fund is financed by citizens who can participate from 500 euros to several thousands euros. And we started this 2.5 years from now. We raised 15 million euros thanks to 1,500 citizens. This has enabled 30 farmers to get installed and a bit more than 1,000 hectares converted to this new agriculture. It's also an opportunity to bring closer citizens and farmers as this link between cities and farming has been lost for the last decades. Our goals is to accelerate. So we aim at financing 25 farms this year, 100 in 3 years from now. Thanks.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup. You can stay with me.
Okay.
I'd like to ask the other 3 pitchers to come rejoin us on stage for a quick Q&A. All eyes on the jury and your questions. You have to keep very close. You should keep quite close, yeah. And off we go. Yes, please.
Yeah, I have a question to Feve. Thank you. It was very clear. I have a question regarding the bio-regenerative agriculture. What does it mean exactly for you?
Yeah, good question. It means avoiding usage of non-organic entrants and trying to go for less what we call regenerative agriculture is using I'm sorry, my English is so rusty. I never speak English. I always work in France, and it's been so long.
You're doing very well.
So
no
yeah, and the regenerative agriculture is what we call your regenerative agriculture, and that some people has described from now. And we know that it's not easy to go to bio-regenerative agriculture, but we have more and more examples of people managing to do that. So we try to focus on that.
Merci. Thank you. Yeah, over here to my right.
Yes, hi. Question for the Greenearth Agro. Can you please explain the use of the blockchain?
So,
if you had.
Sure. Everything is on blockchain is a very important part of the technology stack we're building. So essentially, land is permanent, right? All of this will go away, but this land will remain. So if you can start collecting data in an immutable fashion and audit it, that data will stay as long as the land stays. And the longer it stays, the more valuable the land is. So that's number one. Second is the governance aspect. Through smart contracts and oracles, when you're certifying these climate audits, how useful or how effective these practices are, through blockchain and smart contracts and Web3 governance, you can have a consistent monitoring of what's actually working, what's not working, and not periodical visits by these climate experts. And the third piece is your tokenization of, giving a slice of land to a US investor who has no intention of coming to Africa investing, that is not possible without a tokenization platform. So those are the three most important elements of blockchain we're using in a phased manner.
Thank you. Very clear. Other questions? Yep, from the gentleman.
One question for Mash. Not very clear if you're selling an ingredient or a final product to the consumer. And another question, what is written on your label at the end?
Okay, so the labeling question is actually of interest at the moment. So we are investigating this because I think the biggest issue that we have at the moment is we have to say it's mycoprotein. But then a lot of people just don't know what mycoprotein is, right? So we are working with the Fungi Protein Association. So it's basically an association that gathers all the companies involved in fungi protein. And we are basically doing kind of a market study on this to know exactly what are the labeling that we can add to the packaging, basically. And for the first question, we are only supplying the B2B protein ingredient, right? So we sell it to formulators so that they can then replace the meat fraction in the end product.
I have a question for Janet of Recircle. How can you make sure that the clients are going to return the package? Do you have any kind of incentive? How do you return the products actually as a client?
It's a deposit return system, so they get the money back or they get a new bowl if they exchange it. But we don't track and trace because there is a hurdle of the scanning. And with our system, you can just go anywhere in the network, refill, exchange, or give back. And because the quality is very good, we can guarantee that it's used more than 15 times, so it's more sustainable than single-use packaging.
So it means that the restaurants as well, they need to have a huge, let's say, stock of recycled products. So they need a storage for that.
No, it's space saving because they only need for one day, you know, the packagings, and not for every day because the packaging is reused, so it comes back.
Okay.
I can give you an example. If you have like, I don't know, 20 meals a day or 200, you don't need more than that because the packagings are always coming back. And if you have single use, you need a supply for 1 week at least. Okay. So it takes more space.
Okay, thank you.
So my question is for Vincent from FEV. So do you finance only the first year, the farmer, for its installation, or do you engage more on the long terms?
No, we purchase the land and we lease them to farmers. And so they can lease it for as long as they want, and they have an option to purchase it if they wish and if they can.
Very clear. Yeah. Next
question for Gaspard.
Yeah.
You have competitors that are already on the market, like
some of them, yeah.
Like Nature's Find, which I have followed for some time.
Mm-hmm.
What's differentiating you from them?
I mean, the thing with Nature's Find is so there are really two different markets when we look at mycoprotein because when you go to the US, Nature's Find, for example, they use a certain strain that they cannot use here in the EU, right? So it's not that we don't compare ourselves with them because we use the same process, so it's always interesting. But we actually focus on the EU market. So what we're going to do mostly is really compare ourselves with the different actors here present in the EU. And we are about maybe 4 to 5 different actors, but one is actually launching commercially at the moment. I can give a name, it's fine, it's enough, right? But they also find, I guess, different ways to be innovative. One way that we want to be innovative about is basically the structure of the fungi that we want to put on the market. So the process that we actually use can have an impact on the texture of the ingredient that we sell. And we try to modify the process so that the texture in the end is actually really a focus that we want to be involved in.
Thank you. Maybe one last question?
Sure, yeah, for Jeanette. So how do you see the regulation helping the launch of your products all across Europe?
Well, to be honest, it would be nice to have a single-use plastic really stop. But in Switzerland, when we started, I had to explain what's reusable packaging. And now it's still not regulated. So we have the people who want to do it. And I think our job is to make it easy to reuse and not to wait for legislation but it would be nice, yeah.
Not wait for it, but just do it. What a nice motto to maybe conclude this round. Big round of applause for our pitchers. Thank you so much. I invite you all to maybe after this session join us in the networking area. Some of the jury members might want to mix and mingle a little as well. You have one last little job to do as the jury, which is to vote for the so-called coup de cœur, meaning you can send one of the 9 pitches that you just saw up on the main stage for another pitch again. And with that, I want to thank the audience for being here and listening. I hope you got some inspiration from the wonderful ideas and innovations. We are going to go on a 1-hour break here at the garden stage, and we will be back at 1:30 with pitches around the theme of mobility. Thank you very much.